What's goody? Hey man, so the NFL playoffs start Saturday, so it is about that time for me to get y'all my NFL playoff predictions and everything like that. I've done pretty good with my college football playoff predictions so far. I've gotten like two games wrong, and they were both because I picked Notre Dame to lose to Indiana, and Notre Dame has now won two games. So those are the two games that I've gotten wrong. But here I'm looking to do even better, even though this is gonna be tough because I think there are some really, really potentially good matchups even in this first round, let alone in the second round. So I'm gonna start off with the AFC side. And honestly, I haven't really looked at these matchups. Sorry, I'm congested. I haven't really looked at these matchups too much, bro. But what I will say is that now that I'm looking, I knew that some of these, right? Like I knew about Denver, Buffalo. I knew about Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and I knew about Minnesota and LA because I'm a Rams fan and everything like that, right? I think that these are some really, really potentially super good matchups, and I really can't wait to see a few of these games. But let's start off with Chargers versus Houston. I think Houston's really been underwhelming to me this year. CJ Stroud really has no one to throw the ball to. I think the Chargers are kind of like a grit and grind type of team where they can really grind out this type of win. Um, and I just simply don't know if Houston has enough right now. Going into this year, I thought Houston was going to be a super good team, one of the top teams in the AFC. And obviously, they're one of the division, so they are a top seed in the AFC. But like they're the 4 seed. I expected them to be a lot better. I expected CJ Stroud to look a lot better than he's looked. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go with the Chargers, the team that I trust more going into this. I could see Houston winning. Please don't get me wrong. And I think if Houston was fully healthy, I would probably pick them. But I just have to pick the Chargers here. They've proven me wrong too much this year for me to disrespect them here. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick the Chargers. And here I'm picking the Ravens. Y'all know from the beginning of my season that the Ravens were my pick to win the Super Bowl. Y'all have known that. Y'all know I'm one of those people where I'm gonna stick with that even if things haven't looked great for them. Even though things have been looking pretty good for the Ravens, but what I'm saying is like even though they weren't as dominant as I thought they'd be throughout the regular season, to me, first of all, Lamar's the MVP. I don't even know why that's a discussion. I believe that it's far and away Lamar, but the team wasn't as great as I thought they'd be in the regular season. I thought they would be probably the 1 seed, and I thought Mahomes would win the MVP. But what happened is the opposite. The Chiefs ended up being the 1 seed, and Lamar won the MVP, or was, to me, deserves the MVP. But I just think the Ravens are better. I'm not about to pick Russell Wilson and George Pickens, who seem to have some locker room chemistry issues right now. I'm not about to pick them to beat Baltimore. I think Baltimore is just simply the better team. I think Lamar Jackson is just simply the best player. And while I do think that'll be a good game because it's a divisional rivalry, I'm gonna go ahead and pick the Ravens. I think this Buffalo Denver game could also be like sneaky, sneaky good. Um, but I'm gonna pick Buffalo here, man. If Buffalo loses to Denver in the first round, Sean McDermott might have to get fired because like that would be insane. Now I do think Buffalo isn't as great as like the 2 seed says they are. I think Josh Allen just did a lot for them this season, and James Cook did a lot for them this season. Um, but like I just the Denver to me isn't real enough yet. They're not good enough yet. They don't have the talent yet. For Buffalo, I think Buffalo should be able to run the ball pretty well against Denver. Now Denver has to me the best corner in the league, arguably the defensive player of the year this year in Pat Surtain. So I think they will have some struggles passing the ball, at least to like some of their receivers. Now they might have some success passing to their tight ends and their backs. But whoever Pat Surtain is on, or whatever side of the field Pat Surtain is on, if they're in zone, you can expect that to be pretty much shut down for the whole game. So let's go ahead and go over to the NFC. This is going to be such a good matchup to me, but I am picking my LA Rams, bro. I don't believe in Sam Darnold. I haven't really been a big believer in the Vikings this season. I think they looked really bad against the Lions in Week 18. And I predicted the Lions to win that game, but dude, I didn't predict it to be that bad. Like I did not think it was going to be, what was it, like 31-9. I did not think it was going to be that bad. Minnesota's defense is very good. Please don't get me wrong. I just don't trust their offense enough to believe that they can beat the Rams, and I think the Rams have enough offensively to the point where they could really cause some problems for the Vikings. So go ahead and give me the Rams. I think we're going to see an LA Detroit matchup in the playoffs for the second year in a row, and I expect that to be electric. Hopefully, at least I hope it's electric. I mean, when they met in week 1 this season, the team went into overtime. Trust me, I remember I watched every second of the game as a Rams fan when I was with the homie who's a Lions fan. And trust me, it was a whole lot of trash talk going on that night. So I remember that game. And I remember that playoff game from last year as well. It was the same way. Unfortunately, my team ended up losing both those games. So, the trash talk didn't end well for me. But hey, maybe it'll be different this time if they beat the Vikings and go on to play the Lions, hopefully. But I do believe they'll beat the Vikings. I just don't think the Vikings are real. I think their defense is real. I just don't trust their offense enough to believe that they're really, to believe that it's like a true Like, I think if the Vikings had beat the Lions and we were playing the Lions, I would pick the Rams to lose. But I just think Minnesota's the worst team, and I think LA matches up way better against Minnesota than they do against like Detroit. And I think this matchup is low key kind of pretty favorable for LA, especially with LA being at home. They won't have to deal with as many skull chants and stuff like that, which would make things a little tougher. Here I'm gonna go with Washington, man, and I'm not 100% sure on this because Washington hasn't done great against teams that are above 500, but Tampa Bay's defense is not good to me. Tampa Bay's defense simply isn't good, but I kind of want to pick the Bucks. I kind of want to pick the Bucks, but do I? Dude, Washington Detroit would be an offensive matchup that would be crazy, but so could Tampa Bay Detroit could be the same way. Do I see it being Tampa Bay or what? This is a tough matchup for me because I'm not a big believer in either team. I think whichever team wins this matchup is going to lose in the second round. Um, I'm gonna pick the Eagles versus the Bears. I'm not a believer in the Bears. I mean, I'm sorry, the Eagles over the Packers. I'm not a huge believer in the Packers. I do believe that they are a good team, a solid team. I believe Jordan Love is doing pretty good things. But when you're the only team to lose a home game to the Bears, and it's like I think you're a good team. I just don't know that I think that Philly's way better, especially with the rested Saquon, arrested Jalen Hurts, arrested AJ Brown, everything like that. I mean, AJ Brown's so damn rested. He was taking a nap on the sideline of last game when he was sitting out. So I just believe that Philly is the much better team. They're the more well-rested team, and I don't know how Green Bay is going to stop that run. I don't know. I just think Philly's offense is too good. Now, I think Philly's defense will cause them some problems in one of these matchups down the road. But man, I just think Philly's better than Green Bay, and I'm a big believer in Saquon in this offense. So I just think Philly's gonna win this game. Back to Washington, Tampa Bay, bro. Who do I think is gonna win? Do I think all of the higher seeds are gonna win in the NFC, or do I believe Jaden Daniels is gonna win a playoff game as a rookie? Which of those things do I think is more likely? I'm going to stick with my gut, and I'm going to stick with Washington. I really want to switch to Tampa Bay, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stick with my gut. So let's go ahead and go over to the AFC. I'm going to pick the Chiefs. Listen, bro, it's Mahomes. I'm not going to bet against him in the playoffs when he's going against a team that's a divisional rival that he's dominated. I think it'll be a very, very good game. In fact, I think it'll be a very, very close game. And I could even see the Chiefs losing. I just don't think they're going to. Something about Mahomes, once he puts that turtleneck on and it turns to January, bro, he becomes a different man. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick them. I think I haven't watched a ton of Chiefs, and I don't think the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl this year because I just don't think winning a whole bunch of one-score games is the way to win a Super Bowl in the NFL in this day and age. But I do think they are better than the Chargers. I think the Chargers will face some struggles against this Kansas City defense, and I even could see Kansas City's offense coming alive a little bit because, like I said, that dude Mahomes is just different when it comes to that playoff time. That's not even glaze. I don't care. You can call it glaze. It's just not. Baltimore, Buffalo. What happened the first time we saw these teams, I don't predict that happening again. Baltimore blew the hell out of Buffalo when they matched up head-to-head earlier in the season, and I don't think that's going to happen again, but I do think Baltimore's going to win. Like I said, Baltimore's my Super Bowl pick. I think Baltimore is the way better team than Buffalo. I think it'll be an amazing matchup between the quarterbacks and everything like that. I think Baltimore's defense is better. I think Baltimore's run game is better, and I even think Lamar Jackson's better. So I'm just I think they have the better head coach, the better culture, all of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pick Baltimore. And then over here in the NFC, I'm gonna pick Detroit. I don't think Washington's defense, dude. Detroit might put up 50 on Washington, be like genuinely. So I don't even think it's really going to be a competition. I could see this being like an offensive shootout, but at the end of the day, the Lions' offense is way too good. The Lions have been way, way, way too hot for me to believe that they are going to go ahead and lose to Washington here. It's just not going to happen. Here, I'm going to pick Philly. I have a 1 versus a 2 seed and a 1 versus a 3 seed. Is that going to happen? Yes. I believe I believe Philly is a better team than LA. I believe their offense is way too explosive, and I believe that their defense has been way better than I thought it would be this year, and that's going to give LA some trouble. They're just better on both sides of the ball, if you ask me. Now, while LA has, I think, the better pass rushers, I would say that the Phillies' defense has been better, like overall, just scheme-wise and everything like that, and I would say the offense is better too. I think this will be a super close game because I think Philly is I think just the Rams have a lot of talent on offense with Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams. They have talent on offense, and they've got a guy, Matthew Stafford, that they trust. Where Jared Verse has been great on defense, and we've got some guys on defense that are solid. Obviously, we don't have a defensive superstar anymore like we did with Aaron Donald or anything like that. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick Philly still, even though I think this will be a very close matchup, and I think the Rams are a team that really no team wants to see in the playoffs because they're a team that's just peaked at the right time. They did all the things that needed to happen after they started like 1-4 or whatever. And I think they're a dangerous team for literally anybody to face come in this playoffs. Here I'm going to pick Baltimore. I don't think Baltimore's going to choke to Kansas City in the conference championship again. Like I said, man, it's tough because I don't bet against Mahomes, but this is a team that I picked to win the Super Bowl. I'm not about to just change that, especially when the Chiefs haven't looked good enough this year for me to really, really, really want to bet on Mahomes. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna pick Baltimore. And dude, man, Philly versus Detroit. I think this will be a tough matchup, and I kind of want to lean towards Philly, just because when a matchup is so close, I kind of want to lean towards the team that I believe has. Dude, I don't know. I feel like if Detroit had Aiden Hutchinson, I would probably be more inclined to pick Detroit here. But just, dude, I mean, it is impressive that they've done everything that they've done without Aiden Hutchinson being there, since he broke his leg and everything like that versus the Cowboys. It is extremely impressive what they have done. But like, do I see them losing in the NFC Championship back-to-back years? Philly's defense is not good. Detroit is like, no. Okay, let me backtrack. Philly's defense is good, but Philly's defense doesn't have superstars. So Detroit's offense might be able to thrive against Philly's defense, but do I believe in Detroit's defense to stop Philly's offense either? I don't believe in Nick Sirianni the way that I believe in Dan Campbell. I'm going to go with the Lions. I'm picking the Lions versus the Ravens to be in the Super Bowl, and I'm going to pick the Ravens to win. When you have teams like this where the offenses are so great, I think it's going to be an electric playoff run. There are so many great offenses in this playoff run, especially in the NFC, that I think the playoff run is going to be absolutely electric, and I think it's going to be a gauntlet for really whatever team makes it out. Like, I think Baltimore has a tough run, bro. Pittsburgh to Buffalo to Kansas City, if I predict this all right, and then to Detroit is a tough run. Whereas Detroit gets a bye, and then they face the Commanders, who won't be a super difficult win, I don't think. But then they do have to face the Eagles, and I just don't know, bro. I think the Ravens will have built up so much toughness from that run, and that the Ravens have been through so much adversity in the last few years, especially with losing the conference championship last year to not running the ball. I said it when this team got Derrick Henry. I thought the team became unstoppable, and I thought they became Super Bowl favorites then, and I'm sticking with that, bro. I believe the Ravens are Super Bowl favorites. I believe that the Ravens are the best team. I think the Ravens are going to win the Super Bowl. I would like to know what y'all think, because there are some tough games for me to pick in this video, and there are a lot of games in this video where it's literally just like, man, oh man, like, did I pick the right thing? Because it could really go either way. So I'm interested to see what y'all think about that. Like, genuinely, I want to know. But yeah, dude, like, it's gonna be a gauntlet in the playoffs this year, and I'm super excited for the playoffs to start Saturday. I'm basically probably gonna watch every single game because I'm excited for basically all of them. But yeah, man, y'all hit me on Twitter with y'all brackets. Leave in the comments what y'all think I might have done wrong or whatever. I would love to know. And let me know what y'all think, man. Let me know if y'all think my bracket is absolutely terrible. Let me know if y'all think I was being stupid, and let me know if y'all think I just don't know ball, or if you think my bracket's amazing. All right, I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me out a ton. Thank you.